evening and welcome to Meticulous Moments. My name is Juanita Kapp. You can reach me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or find me on LinkedIn. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe, I've had the wonderful privilege to meet a wide array of fantastic individuals. These individuals have truly touched my life in so many positive ways. Amongst this group of people, there are authors, public speakers, life coaches, poets, leaders, and visionaries. They are the unsung heroes of our time. Therefore, I decided to start the Meticulous Moments movement out of a sense of my gratitude. It is my way of giving back to the community. Let us share and reshare their stories in an effort to build a better society. This evening we are joined by the wonderful Alejandro J Tornato. Alejandro J Tornato is the founder and CEO of Tornato Speaking Leadership and Coaching LLC, offering motivational speaking, leadership, development coaching, and personal growth and development training. Alejandro is a powerful and dynamic sought-after international speaker and coach certified through the Maxwell Leadership Organization. He's also one of the founding directors at Have the Edge, with a mission to provide the most comprehensive coaching and training programs for business leaders and entrepreneurs. Alejandro's teaching and communication style immediately connects with individuals and groups from all backgrounds. Alejandro is the co-author of Create Terrific Teams and the host and producer of both the Alejandro Tornato Show and Have the Edge podcasts. Alejandro is a top mentor on Wisdom, the world's largest mentoring audio platform. Most recently, he became an executive contributor for Brains magazine, where he writes articles covering personal development and leadership. You may contact Alejandro at alejandrojtornato.com. Welcome, Alejandro J. Tornato. Good day at Meticulous Moments, and thank you for joining. We are going to spend some time with the vibrant and fabulous Alejandro Tornato. Welcome, Alejandro.
Well, thank you so very much, Jay. I really appreciate this opportunity that you are extending to me. I mean, to have this conversation. And I think that this is an opportunity to learn from one another and to exchange ideas on topics that are very, very relevant, not just to us, but to everybody, I mean, who eventually is going to watch this session. So thank you once again for the opportunity.
Absolutely. It is such an honor to have you here. You know, since the first time we've met, you've made such a tremendous impression on me. And I thought to myself, I have to have Alejandro on Meticulous Moments because he has so much knowledge to share with us.
And I just love, as I said to you before, I love the title of your podcast, Meticulous Moments, because we need to be meticulous in the things that we do. Not perfection, but we have to be meticulous and we have to pay attention to the details. So I love these meticulous moments, theme.
Thank you, Alejandro. I appreciate that. I want to ask you to please introduce yourself to us. We would love to learn more about you and what you do.
Yes, sure, of course. Well, my name is Alejandro J. Tornato, as Jay said, and I am the founder and CEO of Tornato Speaking, Leadership and Coaching, LLC. I am an international speaker, motivational speaker, inspirational speaker, and what I love to call myself a transformational speaker, because I love in every speech that I do, in every keynote, in every educational session, in every Facebook Live, whatever I happen to be speaking to an audience, I love to make a transformation. I love people to transform their way of thinking on a particular topic. So that's what I love to consider myself. And also, I am a leadership development coach and a trainer, a facilitator of programs in leadership and in the personal growth and development areas. So that's who I am in a nutshell, and I'm very passionate about really making a difference in people's lives. Leadership is something extremely important, especially from the younger years on up, and also I found that as a coach, also I like to make a difference in people who get into perhaps, their third age. Around 50, 55 years old, who perhaps lost their vibrancy and their zest for life. And perhaps they doubt about what is next in their journey for them. Yeah. And I love to come and work alongside with them to give them and provide them with clarity, with new, fresh ideas on what they can keep contributing to the world. Because I think that we keep making contributions to this world until the end that we are put on a wooden box, up until that moment, we can still contribute. And I want to help those who lost direction to find a new and an invigorated direction in their lives.
I love that, Alejandro. And some feedback from me from your lives, and the podcast that you do and your speaking engagements. I just think you are an excellent speaker. You keep me captivated when you have a live. I was on one last night, and unfortunately I had to pop out 5 minutes before it ended, but I was captivated for that time. I think it was 25 minutes that I sat and I listened. And to me, that is a leadership skill, because when you go and you spend time with people and you speak to them, you are leading them, you are giving them guidance. So from me to the audience, if you see any of Alejandro's lives or speaking engagements, follow him, make time to listen. He's very knowledgeable and he is an excellent public speaker. I really enjoy it. Whenever I see his name pop up, if there is a notification, I try and hop on. So that's just a feedback from me for you, Alejandro.
Thank you so very much. It gives me pleasure and great delight. That the work that we do, the body of work that we do, really resonates. It will not resonate with the whole world. I'm a true believer of that, of course, but it will certainly resonate with the people that need to hear the message.
Yes, absolutely. And through that, Alejandro, you are making a positive difference in society. And that is what Meticulous Moments aim to do. We want to bring community upliftment through leadership development. And that's why we asked you, who is a wonderful leader, onto the show today to teach us some more wisdom.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Now, we are both proud members of the Connected Leaders Academy. Yeah. And I want to ask you to tell us more about your role as part of the CLA tribe.
Well, I knew Jose Escobar from before. Unknown to one another. We had been following, and he was commenting on some of the things that I was doing on Facebook, and I was commenting on his. And I knew him even before he started with the Connected Leaders Academy. I knew him when he was in the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf, which is another Facebook group that he's the owner. And so we started doing, as I mentioned to you, we started doing a monthly show or a session called a Coffee Hour with Jose and Alejandro. And we've been doing that for about a year and a half now, with a lot of great feedback and a great following. I mean, from people. I mean, we have increased that followership, I mean, tremendously.
Wow.
And as a result of that, then he started with the Connected Leaders Academy, and he talked to me about it, and I thought about it, and I became one of the founding members of the academy.
Wow.
And then, as we were both participating in Manassas in Virginia, here in the U.S., on a seminar by Dr. Oliver T. Reed, it was a writing seminar. Then Jose set me apart and asked me, Alejandro, I want to talk to you about you becoming part of the Connected Leaders Academy executive team. And so, I mean, of course, we had the conversation. He explained to me, I mean, his vision and what he wanted to do. And so I eventually am part of the team, and I am a facilitator. So I love, Jay, that I love speaking and connecting with people and sharing with people and being on the stage, being under the lights, as it were. And so this was an opportunity, which I also is one of the services that I provide. I mean, I love to be the MC, the master of ceremonies of different events. I mean, if people have an event and they don't know who is going to be perhaps having the energy and the vitality and the creativity and to lead that event, I am your person. So contact me. But then he asked me to facilitate the Connected Leaders Academy weekly calls. There is one on Tuesday mornings and there is one on Wednesday evenings. And so I've been doing that. And as we keep on growing, there is going to be perhaps more responsibilities. But for now, that is what I am doing. And I'm very, very thankful to Jose for extending that opportunity to me.
Love it. And I've been on those calls and they are amazing. The CLA is a fantastic leadership group. And I was thinking, as you were speaking now, I was thinking of two things. I was thinking that you and I have a lot in common. And I think that's why we clicked.
Yeah. I think that there is a lot of what I call magical synchronicity.
I love that, this magical synchronicity. I love that, and I agree. And therefore, we are going to work on something, and we'll still bring out the surprise at the right time. But I am so very happy to be with you, and you teach me so much, Alejandro. And the second thing,
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but there is tremendous power in collaborating with people. But like I said, even though there is power in collaboration, you have to know ahead of time and knowing the person whom you are going to collaborate with. Because if you collaborate with the wrong person, then it may not end up that well. But if you like in this case, if you found the person who has similar or the same values that you and the same ideas and the same purpose, then when you collaborate, you can produce something that is so much greater than either of the individuals.
I agree. And that's why when the conversation led to that, immediately I knew that we are in a good space. Because like you said, we have the same values, we just connect, and there's so many magical synchronicities that I know we are going to make a big impact, and I'm very excited for it.
Sure.
Alejandro, the other thing I was thinking of is that, I saw a picture in my mind when you said you love speaking and being on the stage and the lights. It's just part of you because you have something to give over to your audience. I thought to myself, a good public speaker like yourself does not have to follow the lights follow you. It's like you captivate the audience. So that is an image I just got in my mind for you. So write that down. And one day when you go over it, you'll see. Jay said to me on the 5th of August, 2022, the lights will always follow me.
That's a great statement. I mean, because and that is true, because in life, when we are passionate about what we do, when we love what we do, when we are in our strength zone, doing the thing that we love doing, then we don't have to be the chasers of things. Things are beginning to chase us.
I love that. I'm going to make a post about the lights. I love that. We don't chase, we attract.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I mean, what a beautiful title for something. I mean, for a seminar, whatever.
Yeah.
Forget about chasing. Concentrate on attracting.
Yes.
Wow.
And
write that down.
We should write that down. I love it. Now, Alejandro, you have an engineering background.
Yeah.
And I would love to learn more about how you became a proud American citizen.
Well, I tried to condense that story, of course. I mean, when I finished my education, my high school, and then I joined the military service in my country, in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, then I was given the opportunity to travel to England for a 3-month course in English to improve the language. Okay, so that's what I did. And then the idea was you just stay 3 months and then return back home and carry on your happy life there. Well, the universe had a different idea for my life. And after those 3 months, then I stayed in England. And I stayed, as a matter of fact, for about 15 years. Okay,
wow.
So 3 months transformed into 15 years. It was a beautiful time and a beautiful chapter in the book of my life, for sure. And so I completed a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering at the University of Wales in the UK. And so when I finished that, then I never went back home. I came into the United States. Wow. And then, of course, I became a US resident. And then eventually, after a few years, I became an American citizen. But it was a great time. During that time, I was working in engineering. I was traveling extensively throughout Latin America because I could speak fluently both English and Spanish. And wow. So as I was working in engineering and as an applications engineer, and then I was attending, the company would send me to a lot of trade shows where I would interact with potential customers for our product lines. But I was also doing educational sessions on the systems that we had. So I was just speaking to a lot of audiences. I remember that one day I was in Lima, Peru, in South America, and I was talking, giving a session to about close to 500 to 800 people. In a sort of an auditorium.
Wow.
And so I remember, Jay, one day, I finished one of my presentations, and then a lady who was sitting on the front row, and believe me, these were very technical presentations. Okay,
Yes.
it wasn't a motivational speaking. I mean, it was very
Yes.
technical information.
Yes.
And so one lady in the front row comes and approaches me, and he says, well, good morning. I mean, she addressed me like Alejandro. I mean, she says, hey, Alejandro, good morning. Do you mind if I tell you something? I said, no, of course not. I mean, just go ahead. And I said, did I messed up in my presentation? Because I did not know what she was going to say. And then she comes and she says, you know, I don't care what topic you are going to talk about. It could be a very technical topic. It could be whatever topic you choose. Yeah. I know one thing about you. I know that no one in the audience will ever be bored or fall asleep in your presentation.
Yes. You see, I told you.
and that, you know, when I heard, I love to be on stage. I love to be connecting with people. Yeah. But up until that moment, I did not know really the impact that I was having on the listener. And so from that moment, I mean, that desire, it was a burning desire. I mean, to continue doing speaking and be more influential and in the speaking world. And so I became a Toastmasters, and I went all the way to distinguished Toastmasters, and then afterwards, I mean, I kept speaking. I mean, taking every opportunity that I had or I was presented to, I mean, to share my message or to share a message to other people. So that's in a nutshell, that was a combination of how I became a citizen of the United States, and that brought me into developing my passion for speaking as well.
Fantastic. And you've just been going from strengths to strengths. I can see it, and I'm proud of you, and I commend you on everything that you're busy with, because what you do carries significance. It makes an impact, and that is important.
That's my desire. That's whatever I do. Especially when I show up and I interact with other people, really what I want is that as a result of my interacting with them, that they are, when they leave, they are better than before they met me.
Wonderful. I love that. I absolutely love that. And our topic is leadership this evening. And I want to ask, if you had to give a description of leadership in general, what does that signify to you? What would that be?
Well, I tell you one thing. You know that as a certified speaker, coach, and trainer through the Maxwell Leadership Organization, I heard John Maxwell, one of my mentors, many times giving speeches. And of course, I mean, I know when I can define leadership, but I think that when somebody asks me about the definition of leadership, and there's many definitions that people have, but the one that really stuck with me and resonated with me, and the one that is very succinct and short, but very pointed into what leadership is what John Maxwell says. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less.
Wow.
And that is, to me, that is the essence of leadership. Yes, you can say leadership is leadership is developing other leaders. Leadership is to have a great and clear vision and mission. And leadership is to interact in an effective way with your team members and to elevate the morale of a team and all those kinds of things. Yes, all that is part of leadership. But in essence, when you boil everything down to the common denominator, to the smallest common denominator, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less.
Absolutely true. I love that, because every other definition kind of fits into that influence umbrella.
Yeah.
Because a leader is someone that wants to make a difference.
Sure.
Full stop.
And the way that you make a difference, Jay, is by influencing other people, influencing them. And there's two kinds of influences. You can influence people for good and for positive results, but you can also influence them for evil and for negative results. I'm talking about the first one.
Yes. Absolutely true. I know. Alejandro, do you perceive self-leadership to be important?
Oh my goodness, what a fantastic question that is. Do I believe that self-leadership is important? Well, everything starts with self-leadership. I mean, if you know, the word self before any other word describes that everything in life, everything that we do starts with whom? With you and with me, okay? Yeah. It doesn't start outside, it starts inside. So I think that self-leadership, for any aspiring leader, for any emerging leader, someone who wants to be in leadership, my kind of a one penny of advice is don't start thinking about leading others. No, that's not the starting point. Yeah. The starting point, my friends and my future leaders, is start leading yourself. Yeah. If you are not able to give yourself a command and follow that command through from beginning to end, then forget about leading others, because you won't be able to. And if you try, you are going to fail miserably, because it starts with you. If you want to teach other people to become disciplined, guess what? Where's that start? Self-discipline. Being self-disciplined. You have to be self-disciplined before you can teach discipline to others. Well, in the same saying, leadership is the same. You cannot lead others if you're not able to lead yourself. So self-leadership is fundamental, is essential in the journey of a leader. It starts right there.
I agree. Absolutely starts with self. And navigating yourself to that place of successfully putting things in place, then being able to make an impact on others, because people are watching.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You can do what you want, you can say what you want, you can be who you are. People are always watching, especially leaders, people who, they look at the leaders, people who carry leadership positions, which brings me to the next question. How has your leadership approach changed since when you initially became a leader up to now?
Oh, my goodness. Well, let me just say this as an illustration. My level of awareness when I started was up here. As a matter of fact, it was even lower, but I mean, the screen, I cannot show it to you, but it was lower. It was below floor level. If you get that picture. And then it was very, very low, extremely low. You see, I was one of, I tell you, it may not be directly related, but I think that it is. I I grew up in a very small family. My mother, my stepfather, and me. Didn't have any brothers or sisters. So I was the one who would get all the attention. All the attention. It was for me. So I grew up and I developed myself into being a taker. Everything. I would receive things and take things. However, I would never give. I was a taker, not a giver.
Yeah.
And so that accompanied me and through my later years until I begin. So basically everything was me. I was the central figure in my own world. You know, I couldn't care less about anybody. I couldn't care less about people. It was about me. I was me first, I was me second, and I was me third. Okay, so that's the end of the story. Until I began to elevate my awareness in this area of leadership. And I became to understand through mentors that I had, through friends that I had, through coaches that I had, who started pouring into me through my own reading and study on the subject. I became, my awareness took me to the point that leadership is not about me.
Yes.
Leadership is not about me. Alejandro, you have to take yourself out of the leadership equation, please. If you want to influence, if you want to have impact on people in society, you are out of the picture. So who is in the picture? Everybody else. People, other people. That's the influence. That's the awareness. So my approach, of course, changed significantly. I mean, when you are a baby in leadership, then everything is about you. Everything is about what is your position? What is your reputation? Hey, what are people thinking about you? I mean, that's when you're a baby. But when you grow into leadership, all of that goes by the sideway. All of that goes into the trash bin because it doesn't mean anything. What actually matters is what are you doing and reaching out to help other people elevate themselves.
Absolutely.
That's what truly matters.
Yes, that's the true essence. I agree with you. And I heard a slogan many years ago. I forget now at which conference it was or who the author was, but the slogan went as follows. It said, givers are makers and takers are breakers. And when I saw that, it made an impression on me. And I thought, I don't want to be a breaker. I don't want to hurt people or, do anything against them. I want to then focus and be a giver because I want to make people something more. I want to help them to be all that they can be and to achieve. So those few words, givers are makers and takers or breakers, changed my life for the better. So I enjoyed your illustration. And I think when we become leaders, I think in a sense we are all takers in the beginning because we're still learning how to get into that leadership role. And remember, we are all human. And we all have that journey. Every single leader. Now that I'm thinking about other leaders that I also know, we all started somewhere where we had to shift our focus and say, well, what we are doing truly is for the upliftment of other people. So thank you so much for that answer. I love it.
Yes, thank you.
It relates to our next question, which is, what is your main goal as a leader? I know that you want, because I know you, I know that you want people to excel. What is your, what excites you and ignites you to keep on leading and speaking? And
one of the things that, and this happens basically, recently, One of the things, just because I am watching, as everybody else, you and everybody else is watching what is happening globally in this world that we are living every day. And I can tell you that what's happening is not a very pretty picture. And I don't want to bring into this lovely and energetic interview any kind of a morbidity and doom. Okay, no, there's no. But when we look at the global picture, we don't see a pretty picture, and we see a complete, in my opinion, a complete lack of great leadership. There's no leadership. The world, of course, the world is not going anywhere. But in essence, the whole world, when it comes to a population, is like a ship with no rudder, no direction. It's just floating and going whatever the latest news or the latest whatever it is happening, and that happens because there's no direction and there's no leaders who set a clear and a visionary direction. And so what I am really passionate about and interested in is to teach young people, young men and women, perhaps in high school, perhaps in college. I mean, the true millennials. I mean, the younger generation, not to teach them, but to share with them what real effective leadership and leaders are all about. Because if they are getting the notion of what leadership is and leaders from what they watch on TV or from what they read in the tabloids, then I tell you, Jay, they're getting the completely wrong idea of leadership and leaders, an effective, heart-centered leadership. Okay, so I think that my mission, what I want to do is I want to help and I want to share those ideas with them, because it's not that young men and women, as I hear so many times, they are the leaders of the future. They are our future leaders. No, forget about that. They're not our future leaders. They are the leaders right now. Not the future, it's right now. And I think that we need to change their mindset and make them aware that they are leading. Now the question is, how are they leading? How are they leading? And I think that my concentration is in that area. And in whatever I can make a difference in that area, I am definitely all for it.
Absolutely. And you know, the very reason why you and I are sitting here today on Meticulous Moments, the reason that Meticulous Moments was born is for this very same reason, that I noticed there is a lack of leadership. There is a chasm between the salted leaders, the people that have been leading for years, such as you and I and other peers that we know, and the younger generation and leaders. And I feel like COVID has kind of made that chasm bigger. And we have to bring things together and into perspective for them once again. So thank you for that very lovely answer. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I agree completely.
Thank you.
My next question: how often do you engage in personal and professional development activities?
Oh, my goodness. On a minute-by-minute basis.
Audience, I can tell you that's absolutely a truthful answer.
I think, you know, it's really amazing to me sometimes, I mean, to connect with people, I mean, to hear people's ideas about personal growth and they just, either they are completely ignorant about what personal growth is, or even worse, because if you're ignorant, then okay, you admit your ignorance, and then you are perhaps sometimes willing to learn. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with being ignorant. Ignorant is one point, but you can learn from there. But then what is even worse is people who don't give, excuse me what I'm going to say, but don't give a crap about a personal growth, and don't just put it as a priority in their lives. Because there's one thing that we have to make absolutely sure.
Yeah.
We are all growing. Human beings, from the moment that you're born until the moment that you pass, you are on a continuous growth. But that growth is a chronological growth. You know that a year from now, you're going to be a year older than you are now. I mean, that's whether you like it, whether you agree with that, it doesn't matter. It will happen. It just is automatic that it will happen. Chronologically, you are going to grow and get older. However, when it comes to personal growth, to a personal development of you as a human being, that doesn't happen automatically. That requires intentionality on your part to grow, to see what are areas in my life that I need to grow. And I heard it so many times, Jay. The biggest room in any house is the room for improvement. Is the room for improvement. And so we are all in need to keep improving. So I cannot understand people who say, oh no, personal growth, I mean, no, forget it. I mean, I'm too busy with other things. And that's the excuse. I'm too busy with other things. Well, let me tell you one thing. Why don't you get busy by growing personally yourself? I mean, that's something that you have to incorporate into your business, because it will make definitely a difference in any person's life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Truer words have never been spoken. I love that. I agree with you. And we should really, as leaders, keep that hunger for learning.
Yeah.
Because we know we learn from our audiences, we learn from our peers, we learn from other leaders. There's so many things. It's always leadership to me is give and take of knowledge.
Yes, I am of the persuasion that we should all be perpetual learners. We should be consistent readers. I mean, we should read, we should grow, we should associate with people who can make a positive difference in our own lives and elevate us to the next level of our human evolution. But we should be perpetual learners. We should not stop learning at any point. And I remember a quote, and I don't know if I can quote it verbally, but it says, I mean, in this world, I mean, there are two kinds of people. I mean, they are the learners, okay, and they are the learned, the learners and the learned. So the learners are going to be prepared to keep advancing and progressing in the world. But the learned are beautifully equipped to live in a world that no longer exists. Isn't that beautiful? Because the learned, they think that they learned everything that they need to learn. And so the world keeps evolving and keeps passing them by. And the learned, they find themselves in a world that just no longer exist because they're in the same place and the world kept on moving.
Fantastic analogy. The learners and the learned. And I don't want to ever get to the place where the learned are, because I don't want to live in a world that doesn't exist. So I will commit to lifelong learning as a leader, for the equipment of those that I lead, and for my self-development, personally and professionally. That is what our mission should be. Absolutely. I love that. Next question. What is the one thing that a leader should never do?
Oh, what is one thing that a leader should never do? Well, I can tell you one thing. There is one thing that a leader must never do, not should never do, but must never do. And that is lie or deceive other people. And in particular, the members of his or her inner circle. Yes. You know, every leader has an inner circle, people who a leader can trust, can communicate, can share, can bounce ideas. So one thing that a leader must never do, no matter what, no matter in what circumstances, is lie or deceive for personal gain or for personal purposes. No, because when you do that, you break trust with people. And you know, earning trust is a process that takes a very, very, very long time to build trust. But to break trust is something that happens boom, in a moment. Yeah. In a moment. And when you break trust, then it's very difficult to recuperate it. It is possible to do, but it's extremely, extremely difficult, because people are going to always have that doubt in their minds. What now? Is it true or is it not? And you don't want to do that.
I agree. Honesty is always the best policy. Being honest with people. I said this in another session. I was actually in one of my martial arts classes this week, and one of the younger children from the previous class was hanging around in the dojo, and he looked at the Kiyoshi, that's our sensei, and he said, Sensei, who is a good coach? Who's the best coach? And our sensei just kept quiet for a moment. He's a man of not many words, but when he speaks, you know, he says something of value. And he paused before he answered. And the little boy repeated the question, and he turned around and he said, the best coach is the honest coach. It's the one that's honest. And that made such an impression on me.
Yes. It's
so important when we lead also. Just be honest.
Yeah.
Say it like it is. In love, of course, and with dignity, never breaking anyone down, but being honest.
Sure.
Yeah. I love your answer, and I agree. I resonate with that.
Extremely important. Extremely important.
Yeah. What is the one attribute that a leader should have?
Leadership attributes. Well, you know, any leader, but especially aspiring or emerging leaders, they must pay great attention to the character trait of integrity and the attribute of integrity. Yeah. And the reason is this: as you display integrity in what you do, that will compound into developing trustworthiness with the people that you're leading. So integrity will lead into trustworthiness. Trustworthiness will lead into rapport with people within your organization and outside of your organization. I mean, you are building rapport. And when you build rapport with people, guess what? You are increasing the confidence that people have on you.
Yeah.
But everything starts with integrity.
Yes.
And so you want people to feel confident about, I mean, who wants to follow a leader and knowing that where's the leader going to take me? I mean, both of us, we may end up in the ditch. No. You have to have confidence in
Yes.
that leader, not being perfect, because there are no perfect leaders, but that leader earn your confidence, and you know that even making mistakes, that leader is worth following.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Integrity is integral.
That's right.
Integrity is integral. That's what's coming up in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, tell me, how can leaders deal with burnout?
With burnout. Oh, you know, when we're talking about burnout, I remember giving a sort of a short presentation on leadership overwhelm and burnout, which are very, very similar.
Yeah.
And so you know, leadership and executive burnout or overwhelm can show up in many different ways. I mean, it can show up in emotional volatility. You know, I mean, leaders, I mean, who really get disappointed and frustrated, and so they just talk to other people in the wrong way, in the wrong manner. I mean, their emotions are all over the place. I mean, that's one area of leadership overwhelmed or burnout. The other area is perhaps an inability for that leader to really concentrate and to focus and concentrate on a very particular task, perhaps. Okay, so what my strategies, I mean, for overcoming burnout is first of all is the power and the art, because it is an art of delegating. Delegation. And delegation is building or developing trust with people, because you are going to delegate not to anybody that you just found in the street. No, you are going to delegate with someone who you know, and you have developed trust that that person is going to follow through with whatever it is that you're delegating to him or to her. Now, the second thing to avoid burnout is do not be a multitasker.
I'm learning.
Be a monotasker. And so many people are going to say, hey, but no. I am a multitasker person. I mean, I can juggle too many balls in the air. Yeah. Okay. But as soon as one more ball comes into the picture, one is going to drop. I mean, you know, years ago, this concept and the idea of being multitasking, I mean, it was great. I mean, people who can just multitask. And then so many studies and so much research was done on the subject. And the conclusion is that multitasking is a myth. It doesn't exist. It doesn't work. Why? Is because we have a specific bandwidth. And when you're trying to fill that bandwidth with so many activities, in the end, you don't accomplish anything. So rather than multitasking, and multitasking is something that not only you are not able to complete, but in the process of multitasking, you are elevating your stress level, and you're becoming more stressful, and that leads to overwhelm or to burnout. So rather than multitask, be a monotasker. Concentrate on one task and one task only from start to finish. And once
Yes.
you finish that task, start another one. And do it that way, because then you are going to devote all of your concentration to it.
I agree. I agree with you completely. I feel that when we and I was actually fulfilling a role at some point in an international company where it was expected to multitask the whole day, and I just felt, at some point things are getting half done because it's a little bit here and then we there and then we. And I didn't enjoy that because I like to do, and that's why the name is Meticulous, because I want to do things in the correct order and bring about, like you said, not a perfectionistic result, but something viable. And I don't feel that multitasking brings us to that place. It's too much on you. And I agree, because I can personally say it does elevate your stress levels. It does.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. The other things that lead to burnout is very quickly is become more proactive as opposed to being reactive to crisis.
Yes.
Especially, I mean, when you are reactive, when you let things go so far, and then now you have to react to a crisis, that gets you into a pathway to burnout, as opposed to you could have solved the situation by being proactive and started taking action sooner than later. And the last but not least is seek support. Seek support. I mean, do not avoid seeking support from other people that you can trust and you can value their opinions. Don't try to do things all alone by yourself all the time. Seek appropriate support when it is required, and don't be shy of doing that, because we need the help of other people. I mean, if we want to accomplish things in an effective way.
So the saying, no man is an island, comes to mind.
That's right. That's right.
My next question contains a phrase that might also be a myth. I don't know, I want to hear your opinion. Do you practice work-life balance?
Work-life balance, yes. For me, I mean, what work-life balance is, I mean, sometimes, I mean, you have to work, but I think that you have to enjoy life as well. And one of the things that I do, I mean, I love to read. I am an avid reader. I love to read, and read is one thing that to me, I don't consider reading as work. I mean, it's enjoyment. And then the other thing that I enjoy is going out for hikes. I mean, and walks. I mean, especially walks in nature. I mean, I don't know if you heard the concept of, what is that? Nature bathing or something like that. I mean, when you go in nature, and it's not that you're going to undress, no, but it's just you are in the midst of nature, and it's like, I mean, you're taking a nature bath. I mean, just walking. I mean, that's something. I remember when I used to live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was surrounded by mountains and valleys and canyons. Then I used to go, I mean, for hikes in the mountains, and it's such a powerful experience.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have a friend that went to Utah for the 4th of July, and he sent me the most beautiful photos of the mountain ranges. And yes, nature bathing, that is my go-to. I hike often, mostly weekends, and I go for hours. I hike up and then I stay on the mountain for hours and I rest, because that's really where nobody can get a hold of me. And then when I go down, I feel so refreshed and I feel like a new person and I'm ready for my new week. So yes, that is an integral part, making that time just to do something that you enjoy. And yes, you are correct. Reading is not work. It's enjoyment. That's also a form of resting for those who can't go hiking, or maybe, don't have the time to drive somewhere. Take that time and read, and just let your mind just rest a little bit from all the other things in the world.
Sure, definitely.
Question: what are the 3 things that leaders should know before they attempt any project?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think that number one, they should know with great and precise clarity the end and the purpose of the project.
Yeah.
And that brings to mind a book that I have read a few years ago by a great author, Stephen Covey, and that is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes, people. Yeah.
And one of those one of those habits is what he calls begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
Begin with the end in mind. And I think that as leaders, what we should do when we engage in any project is to begin from the end back to the beginning. I mean, what is it that we want to accomplish and achieve by engaging and doing this project? What is it? What is the impact? What are the ramifications? What is it? So begin with the end in mind. Now, the second thing is that they should know the members of the team that they are going to be working with, because any leader who is engaging in a project of a certain magnitude, then they are not going to do it all alone by themselves. I mean, they're going to do it as part of a team. And so knowing the team members, knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses, knowing how they interact. I mean, what you want is not putting those members in the right bus, but you want to put them in the right seats in that bus so they can be as effective and as productive as they can possibly be.
Yeah.
So knowing your team members is the second, in my opinion. And the third is that they should know that open communication is one of the most important keys to the success of any project. So is inspiring the team to communicate openly, even if mistakes are made along the way of that project, no problems. I mean, you allow mistakes to be made because you learn from those mistakes, but allow open, direct communication no matter what. So I think that knowing those 3 things, I think that a leader is position himself or herself for success.
Wonderful, wonderful. Absolutely fantastic answer. True servanthood in leadership encapsulates all 3 of those points. It's really shining through. Fantastic, fantastic. What is next for you?
What is next for me? Well, I think that, one of the things, and I think that we talked about this briefly, I mean, before we actually went live, on the power, which to me, it is an awesome power in collaborating with another leader, collaborating with another person who holds the same or similar values as your own, who has the same ideas that they want to accomplish, that they want to add value to other people and to society at large. And I think that to me, what is next is looking and finding who I would be able to collaborate. I mean, to really make a profound difference and a profound impact in the spheres that we are interacting in society, in other people, in helping other people really to achieve even higher levels of success, because I truly believe, Jay, that we have limitless potential within each one of us. And I think that when we bring that limitless potential and we collaborate with others, the sky is the limit. I think that the sky is the first stop in what we can accomplish together.
Yes, I agree with you. I can see that in my mind, and I really think collaboration is where the strength lies, because we've discerned that you cannot do everything on your own. And two minds are always better than one.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, I mean, quoting something, another thing that John Maxwell used to say is that one is a small number to achieve success and significance. Yes. So it's in the collaboration of minds and hearts where the secret to a greater success and significance lies.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I look forward to our collaboration as well. And I know I'm going to learn so much from you, and I know we will make a big impact. So thank you very much for that. That is what's next for me as well. And you give so much insight, and every time we talk, it's just a download of information, which is lovely, because that keeps us on our toes and it keeps us learning. And that brings me to my last question for the day. Do you have any words of wisdom for the audience?
Do I have any wisdom, final wisdom for the audience? Yes. I hope that, and this is for anybody, anyone, but in particular, especially for those in the audience who are thinking or contemplating getting into leadership, becoming a leader, leading others. I can tell you this. I mean, as Les Brown says, I mean, there is greatness within you. Is how you are going to show that greatness to others. Either you are going to keep that greatness for yourself and you becoming great in the eyes of everybody, or are you going to use that greatness to share it and to help others become great? And I think that that is the difference maker. That is the differentiator in how good and how effective of a leader you are going to be later on, or how miserable your leadership attempt is going to be. If you want to be a leader because of what the perks that you are getting for you and the likes that you are going to have on social media and the good comments that you are going to have, and if you are going to feed your ego with those things, and those are the things that are going to be the most important for you, then I tell you one thing: think of something else and don't even start becoming a leader, because you are not going to succeed. Because as people very quickly are going to find what is behind the curtain, then you are going to lose all confidence, all trustworthiness, all things. So if you want to get into leadership, display a spirit of integrity and display a spirit of both serving and servanthood, and a heart-centered mindset that is not about you, but is what you can do for others. That is my kind of a little word of wisdom in this. And this nugget is not only applicable to leadership, is applicable to anything that you do in life. You can either do it to benefit you, or you can do it to benefit others. The choice is yours. But depending on that choice, you are going to quickly see what the outcome and the results are.
Thank you for those wonderful words of wisdom. It has been a profound session. It has been a training session. It has been a session where we've received revelations on the topic of leadership, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, so did I, and it's always a privilege. I mean, to meet, connect, and collaborate with people of your caliber and your level of awareness and the way that you want to make a difference in the world. And it is always my pleasure to associate with people like you, Jay. You said that I inspire you, but you inspired me as well. And I think that I will continue to think very strongly that from the very moment that we interacted, I will continue to say that this has been, is, and will be a magical connection and synchronicity between us.
I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, and I agree with you completely. And audience, watch this space, because Alejandro and myself are going to be bringing some wonderful things to you in the future. And for those who tuned in and for those who are watching this session, we will make Alejandro's contact details available at the end of the session. Please follow him on social media, pop into his lives, see his public speaking abilities. If you need a master of ceremonies, he is the perfect candidate, and reach out to him. And with that, we say thank you and goodbye until the next session.
Good night. Goodbye and be well.